But what you cooking, man?
What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Iron Minds. Iron sharpens iron. You got Pedro Potato, Michael Lombard, and myself. Trey will be joining in just a moment. How y'all doing today?
Let's go, baby. It's Tuesday. Get up, and we're getting after it, wherever anybody is.
I like it. Pedro, how
Yeah,
about you?
what Lombard said. I'm trying to warm up, Nick. Give me a dang minute here, man.
Well, that's it. You're doing it. I
I
made a
know.
comment.
I mean,
I made a comment to you guys over the weekend, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't remember, but just a sort of self lesson of, just show up and see what happens. You might surprise yourself. And this is one of those days I don't want to be on the bike. I actually just got started. I didn't start at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, or whatever, an hour ago. So I'm just showing up too. And there he is, the
yeah.
man. Did you get a haircut too? Or am I just not used to seeing you without a hat?
I have a hat.
Not you,
You're,
Trey.
you're, where is Trey? I don't even see Trey.
Where am I?
I
There
It's
I
see
am.
you.
you, Lombard. Oh, there's Trey.
I'm here. I actually did get a haircut. That's a pretty good call out. I shaved the beard down a little bit, and I did a different kind of fade this time around. So yeah, dude, good call out. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Very
Trey,
nice.
you look great for a nice mid 2000s. You look just like you're the grade up version of the singer of Senses Fail.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I can't complain about that. I can't complain. So
Yeah, man.
can't complain.
It's you're getting ready for Warp Tour and everything.
what they don't know, Lombard, is Trey and his barber shop quartet are going to do NSYNC live this year at the competition. So Trey is getting
It's gonna be close, man. I'll tell you what. We had a rehearsal last night, and we were up late. We had a special Monday rehearsal with a special coach from Dallas, Texas, that came up. And you're not far off, Pedro. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time. That's for sure. Not
Wish we
far
could be there,
off.
man, to cheer you on, broski.
I feel
Dude,
bad
it's
it's
going to be a
dark.
blast, man.
I lost my light.
It's here in St. Louis this year. It's like a hometown event. I get to sleep in my own bed. Everybody's coming to us this year. And, we got another gold medal to go try to win. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Going to capture the hearts of the crowd and have a
Was
good
it
time with it. So.
was it a year ago that you went to England?
Yeah, it was actually. So it was Memorial Day weekend last year that we went to England. We were invited over by the Barbershop Association, or British Association of Barbershop Singers, BABS. They invited us over to England. We went to Bournemouth, which is down the southern coast, and did a 12-song concert for them. It was pretty fun. Really good time.
Love that. I was talking to now. There's a lot of love-hate about David Goggins, and I often come to the defense because a lot of people who don't like him don't really listen to him. They don't really interpret him. And because of what he's put himself through and how he abuses his body, people will tend to use that as an excuse to not do anything at all or to not listen to anything he says. And I always try to chime in and be like, listen, he's never actually told anybody to do what he did. And in fact, if you listen to him, he talks just as much about, overcoming his learning disability and studying for the ASVAB test as he does his 100 milers. And I bring that up because I was saying about this before, how we're talking about Iron Minds here, and it's not always just about physical fitness. Trey, you're the Renaissance man right there, brother. Like, that's a great example of just being an active part and participant of life and being part of things and doing things that, well, round out the Iron Mind.
Well, it's an interesting point, Nick. And I'll tell you what I love about seeing Barbershop, probably more than anything, is our directors, our arrangers are literally some of the best in the world in the barbershop community. So it's a small pond, but these guys are big fish. And every week you got 100 guys up on the risers, 100 just average Joes like myself who come to rehearsal, and we focus on the smallest of details. I mean, it is like so intense, this pursuit of excellence, that yeah, it's barbershop and whatever, it's fun to sing and those kind of things, but it's amazing how intense the rehearsals get, just to focus on the smallest little thing, how we're turning the end of a word so that it actually sounds good to the audience, and how we're changing our dynamics, how we're just all the little details, just all the little minutia, but it's all a pursuit of excellence. And there's something really captivating about that, whether it's barbershop or whether it's Iron Man or whatever it might be, that your kind of hobby or your focus is. When you're pursuing excellence with other people, man, it's intoxicating, it's attractive, and I love going every week because it just pushes me to really work hard and to be better at something. And it's intense. And I don't know that I ever thought I'd be a part of something like this, but on top of just the silliness and the fun that we have, those types of things, it's this pursuit of excellence with these other 100 guys every week. That's, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. That's for sure.
Dude, exactly.
I think we
Hey, what's
lost
up,
him
Michael? We
first.
lost you for a second. Start over again. Say it again.
Level, if it's just surface level, you got to read the book one. But you hit the nail on the head. Like, but we've gone full circle with his message, where it's what he said was true, and for many people it became a lot of became gospel, and then it swung the other way, where obviously the critics need to come around and be like, oh, he's actually damaging his body, he's doing this, you need to prioritize rest, all this other kind of like watered down garbage, or like you just need to do XYZ. But sometimes I believe most people need to hear his message because what he's saying is true. And yes, it has nothing to do with ultra running. He tells it from that perspective. And the reason why it comes from the like the foundation of fitness, and for the most part, because to want to be associated with groups like your barbershop, the barbershop stuff you're doing, to want to be a part of that group and to chase excellence with them, your headspace matters. And for a lot of people, they're not in a headspace to even want to pursue their hobbies or what they enjoy, and they don't even know what they enjoy anymore, and they're lost. And when you start taking care of your health and fitness, then you start to lean into those hobbies more, and you lean into maybe people lean into faith more, and that's kind of like the timeline is. People who criticize Goggins' message, they're like, oh, you can still do XYZ without having to do what he does. But again, you got to listen to his full message. But again, if you're not willing to do the difficult things that it takes to, have a healthy body, when again, because that physical health trickles right into the mental health, and then you're able to lean into. You don't need to be doing what he does to have 8 knee surgeries and do all this stuff. That's him. And yeah, he actively says it. Like, that's his journey. That's what he freaking does to fight it, chase his demons. That's not what most people are going to do. But at least if you listen to his message and it gets you going the right freaking way, it'll get you to do something like doing things you've never thought you've done before. Like, and I'm doing those things too, doing things I never thought I'd done, whether it comes to either events or people I've met, rooms I've been in, conversations I've had with people, helping people. Again, like I've gotten people jobs. I've connected brokers with carriers. If I'm not of a sound mind and body, I don't have the drive to do that for people. And that's the most important part.
Dude, there's a lot to that. I mean, when we have rehearsal, the majority of rehearsal is spent focusing on our mind, because the vocal side of it, we do warm-ups, our voices are relatively decent to start with. There's a lot of talent in the room, But what makes us great is when we are like so focused mentally on all the little details and mixing this technical aspect of seeing with this emotional aspect of seeing produces an experience that the audience absolutely loves. But it's really, I mean, it's very mental, just like about everything else. That once you get to trying to pursue greatness, it's almost always a mental battle more than a physical battle. I was just watching the women's national championship games Sunday night. It was UCLA versus South Carolina. And UCLA's never won a national championship. South Carolina's won several. And the woman who was coaching UCLA, Corey Cross, she's been there for 15 years. John Wooden was her mentor. If you guys don't know, John Wooden won 10 national titles at UCLA on the men's side back in the 70s. And she learned so much. Slowly was building and building and building. And one thing that she said in the post-game interview that I may never forget, she said, "Our talent is our floor, but our character determines our ceiling." And man, I thought you could almost take that what she said and say, man, like our mental focus and our mental clarity and our pursuit and our drive and how we handle ourselves determines how high we go. You can have a lot of talent, but that talent just determines the floor. Your character determines your ceiling. Man, what a great quote. Golly, I was like I was fired up on a Sunday night. Hear that. It was so good.
Yeah, another on the money quote.
Yeah.
I'm not sure a lot of people would agree with what I'm about to say, but I think in terms of ways to manifest mindset, physical activity is simply one of the easiest things you can do. That's what I like about it. It's not emotional. It's not personal. You run. A mile is a mile. 20 minutes is 20 minutes. The effort you put forth is the effort you put forth, and that's it. So it's measurable. It's objective. And when you want to push yourself, you know whether or not you did or not. You don't have to sit there talking about how you felt about it. And so for me, that's one of the reasons why I like to put myself in hard situations. It's why I continuously sign up for things I swear to God I'll never do. And as it's we're now in week 15 for me of Ironman training. One of the things I keep talking about every week is the transformation. But I'm not talking about like just some weight loss or some health statistics. It's about who I'm going to be at the end of this thing. Because, I already train 10, 12 hours a week, and now I've added another 3 to 5 on top of that. Well, when this thing is over, there's 5 hours of my life I might get back, but I'm going to spend them in an equally as productive way. And if I can do this, what else can I do? What else can I accomplish when I put forth that level of commitment and effort into one thing?
Yeah, those are the biggest takeaways, because that's why the message behind, like Goggins' message and Michael Easter in the Comfort Crisis, when you do things like when you do chosen hard things, when you choose suffering and you go through those things intentionally, and when you go through and you sign up for races or you train or you lose weight, when you do those things, what you're gaining along the way are the life skills that are going to make you organize your time better. Like when it comes to, and that's why I love the Ironman Arena, because it's across, it's not just ultra running, it's across 3 disciplines, and it's a long training block. Is you've got to, if you want to do this race, if you want to finish this race, you have to take an extreme diagnostic of your time, of your schedule, how you're spending it, and who you're spending it with when you're in that process. And the result is, sure, you get a finish line, you get a medal, you get some clout on Instagram, but the real reward you get, because again, most people who do Ironman are not professional athletes by any stretch of the means. They're not the pros. You're not going to get your pro card. Christian Blumenfeld, this guy's been bred since he was 3 years old to do what he does. But what you get in the end is now these skills that some of the most successful people you'll find in business have, which is blocking off their time, choosing what's more important, like being able to determine what's worth your time once you get to that finish line and what you're going to do, how things serve you. And you get that. And again, I'm not saying you should go from the couch to Ironman immediately because you want to make those changes. But that's the trajectory, is when you put yourself on on an Iron Minds type journey, or you put yourself on a journey of wanting to better your health, along the way you're going to cut out the people who don't matter, who are toxic. You're going to spend less time just going out to bars and mindlessly spending money. You're going to spend more time doing the things that serve you because you decided to take care of your health and fitness, and that's why it transcends and helps your professional career, your relationships, anything you're doing.
Yeah, I think Nick said it perfectly. It's about who you become at the end, not about what you've accomplished so much, but who you became to do that thing, which is great. Okay, Pedro, we got a question for you from Franklin. He asks, "Who owes you money?" Hitting the block.
Somebody owes you money.
I love the light up against that chain link fence earlier.
What up, Franklin? Hey man, I figure, they gotta share. Like, there's 4 of us on screen, and let's be honest here, guys. Like, none of us are getting modeling contracts here, okay? So look, instead of staring at all 4 of our ugly faces, we gotta give the people something other to look at. So I'm like, hey, we're showing the path that we're
walking. If I could tell a story that I messaged you guys about in the comment I made at the beginning of the show on Saturday. And this is the other fun thing about doing hard things like Ironman, because on Friday, I swam for over 2 miles, which is something I never thought I could do. Then on Saturday, I rode my bike for 80 miles, which was a new record. But then all day, I couldn't keep my blood sugars up. And all night, I couldn't keep my blood sugars up. And I'm like out of everything. So literally Sunday morning, I wake up from my run, and I reach in the fridge and I grab the maple syrup, and I just go to town on maple syrup. But so the plan was 18 miles. And even though I was exhausted, and I'm telling myself, you're going to be exhausted at the end of the bike, so let's go. And within a mile and a half, my blood sugar was already low. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to make this run. I should just turn around. And then for some reason, I was like, well, we'll just keep going a little bit more. And I got to the top of the trail where I wanted. And then I was like, well, you know what? That trail 2 miles from now intersects with this street. And I can call my wife and have her pick me up. I'm just going to run to there. And so I kept running. And then I ran past the 5 mile part. And I was like, well, we're still maintaining. I only have to go 4 more miles and then I can turn around. By the time I was at 13 miles with 5 to go, 5 miles away from my house, I texted my wife and told her, honey, I don't think I'm going to make it back. And then I put my phone in my pocket and I started to run again. The only reason I texted her was in case something happened. She knew, like, look out for me, or, well, start calling the hospitals or something. And within 2 miles left, I was completely out of water. And sure enough, at mile 18, I finished my run. But not just the 18 miles, but the best 18 miles I had ever fucking run. And so the simple lesson here, and it is a simple lesson, it's process and ignore the shit in your head. Just show up and surprise yourself. Because I think that's honestly, like when I talk about live inspired, that's what it means. It means inspire yourself. Do something inspiring. Do something you don't think you're capable of. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't mean go from couch to Ironman. It means do one more rep, one more effort than you think you're capable of in whatever it is that you're after. So that was my lesson from this weekend that I wanted to share with y'all.
Nick, that's an interesting story, because when you think about what you did, you just cut a big goal up into a bunch of small goals. 2 more miles of this, 1 more mile of that, 3 more miles of this, 5 more miles of that. Like, you just took a big, difficult goal of running 18 miles. Because let's be honest, the majority of people in this world, the people listening to this podcast, have not run 18 miles. I've never ran 18 miles. If I only ran 13.1, that's the furthest I've ever gone. And, you get pretty exhausted. But when you break it down to, hey, just 1 more mile, 2 more miles, whatever, it feels mentally much more manageable than 9 miles out, or 8 miles to go, or 12 miles left, whatever big number you might throw at it. And I think that's a really important lesson. It's like, if you want to do 100 push-ups, start with I'm just doing 10 at a time. That's all I'm doing, is just hit little bitty chunks. If I can do 10 at a time, if I can do 100. But if I had to do 100 in a row, I wouldn't finish. I'd be exhausted. I'd get totally exhausted. But doing 10 in a row is manageable. Might be 5 in a row for you or 2 in a row. But just, man, you cut everything into smaller goals, but you keep going. I think that was the key part, is that you just kept going, man. That's awesome, dude. I love that. Fires me up.
You know,
Nick,
you know,
you're a motivational magician. And when Trey sends us these clips, I'm going to, man, what you're saying this, we'll talk about that. I am so going to put that to, like the Hollywood preview movie, in a world full of diabetes. That's that's awesome. I do love what Trey said, man. I know. I think I do. I think a lot of people do that, Trey. And it's a mental thing. Like you were saying, man. You look at a problem and you can look at it as this massive problem that you got to try to all solve at once, or you can break it up in increments, man. What's the most important thing that I need to do? And that goes with the fitness, the health, just daily life problems. I think that we overburden ourselves. I'm going through this right now, man. I'm so overwhelmed and overburdened that, like, sometimes my brain just stops, and I have to take a step back and be like, okay, what's the most important thing that I need to get done first? What is going to be the catalyst to get me to the next thing? You know what I mean? And then keep me going and going and going and going. And sometimes I do things out of order just because I'm like, I know this is how I need to do it to get it done. And I think people have the everyday person struggles with that sometimes. Kind of compartmentalize the things we have to do and just make a checklist in your mind, man. Knock those things out one by one by one by one, and so yeah, that's good story right there, Nick and Trey. Good follow up on that.
Dude, there's nothing to be said about just doing the next thing. Just do the next thing. What's the next thing? Just do that.
one key thing that was helpful for me too, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, I gave myself permission to fail. When I said I'm going to call my wife for a ride, I meant it. It's just that when I got to that point, I was like, well, let's see if I can do just a little more, because I wanted to get the most out of what I had going on. From that first mile and a half, instead of getting myself overwhelmed, thinking that I had to solve the whole problem, I gave myself permission to fail. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. And so I focused on the thing I could control, which was that next simple move. And there's one other secret wisdom here to drop, because it started from this show. Like several episodes, Trey asked if Lombard and I were going to try to stay together in the Ironman, and I laughed because, he's just going to be gone. But
Trying to PR, dog.
Hell yeah, dude, you're supposed to be gone. But you will be with me, because you were with me on Sunday. Like, there were times where I swear I was running, and I just pictured you having finished 4 hours before me, leaning over the railing, screaming in my fucking face to hammer down, let's fucking go. And so I did. So, the tribe is there.
You know what it is, Nick? You know what it is that does that, bro? Because it does the same thing for me. It's that luscious head of hair Lombard Scott. Dude, like, we're just gonna cut a lock of that off, bro, and we're gonna stick it somewhere in your body, and you're gonna have your best pair. You're gonna smoke Lombard.
Yeah, we'll glue it right onto the back of the head.
I don't think I have enough time to grow a mustache.
Just chasing those locks, baby.
What Nick's saying is the exact mentality that kept me running while I was over the road. Was the mile in front of you, showing up as you are, where once the yellow tab got pulled, like that's what it became. It was just 30 minutes. Like, that's it. Like, I would start jogging. That's it. 30 minutes. And that's it. Like, 30 minutes, I turn around. But then all of a sudden, 15 minutes goes by. I'm a mile and a half in, and in my brain, the goalposts have already shifted. Well, it's like, oh, well, I'll be at 2 miles in 5 minutes. It's like, what's another, it's like, instead of turning around at a mile and a half, I'll be at 2, I'll get 4 miles. And then by the time I hit 2, the goalposts have moved. And there have been so many just 30 minutes that turned into 6-mile runs while I was over the road. And then I was back in. Instead of 30 minutes, it was just an extra 30, and I would still then cook dinner, shower, boom, 7-8 hours of sleep. Like that, like it just 30 minutes. So more than not, just 30 minutes would turn into 5 to 7 miles very regularly over the road because of just showing up. And then the
Yeah, I
result
mean
is what we see now.
that's the key, Mike, is just getting
So,
started. Sometimes you got to trick your mind into that. Hey, I'm just going to do 30 minutes or whatever. My daughter, my youngest daughter, decided that she wanted to start running, which is really exciting. She decided she wanted to start running. And I said, just go like run until you kind of run out of breath, and then or you get super tired because she's new to it, and then just walk for a little bit, keep walking, and then start running when you feel good again. And she went out and just did almost an entire mile of running her first time out and felt great. She felt great. But it was just getting started. Just go out and do a little bit. Just do what you can. And then a lot of times those goalposts do change once you get going. That's for sure. That is for sure.
And another habit on top of that is good. And it's why it's part of 75 Hard, which I did in 2024. Like if we're trying to talk about applying like the Goggins message to other things, is what you're consuming matters. We've talked about social media before, which is why reading books is really important. And this is another thing I've learned because we just got done watching Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's the first time my wife's watched it, which I would do anything to go back and rewatch those movies for the first time. But the power of some of these fictional stories out there versus some of the self-help books. So it's like when you do turn off sometimes the Goggins message, you look at a story like things sorry, spoiler alert, but like we see what happens to Frodo at the end of the movie. He gets on the ship to go to the Undying Lands. If you read the Lord of the Rings books or you've watched the movies through a director's cut, you're talking about this massive story where in the end Frodo sets out to save the Shire, and then he can't live, like he doesn't end up staying there. He has to leave because the Winds aren't, but he did it anyway. And no, in real life, there are very few stories where you see that level of kind of triumph and sacrifice. And like, so I've been getting really big on some of these like fictional or mythological stories that, people have told for X thousands of years or what have you, which are sacrifice and triumph and what it means. And when you read these stories, these people are heroes in a battle of good versus evil, and then they still, in the end, they end up having to sacrifice something in so many ways. And so I would say to anybody else right now who's, depending on where their mindset is at, pick up a story and start reading it and see and take the lessons from some of these stories out there that can drive you, that teach the lesson of what triumph and sacrifice is, and how doing intentionally hard things sets you up for when life is going to bring you down, because life is going to come at you, work, job, family, relationships. It's going to throw its weight at you. The devil works that way. He's going to throw the doubt, he's going to throw the fear. But when you harden yourself by choosing the intentional suffering, choosing the hard things, you will be equipped to take them head on and to make sacrifices.
Yeah, that's so true. And there's so many good series out there. I mean, there's Harry Potter, there's the Chronicles of Narnia, there's Hunger Games. Those are all book series that became movies that everybody really loved because of those arcs, those storylines. So there's a lot of good ones out there to choose from, depending on what you like. But man, even ones like Jack Reacher, the Jack Reacher book series is tremendous. Great movies, but man, the books are incredible. So there's a lot of good ones to choose from in that regard.
I'm reading one right now.
What are you reading?
Oh man, I don't remember the name of it now. It starts with him digging pools in Key West. Ends up going to New York, finding some general's daughter he was friends with. People are trying to kill her, and chaos ensues. I don't remember the name of it. It's one of the earlier ones, but not
Well,
like
you got the storyline, so we'll give it to you this time. Otherwise, we were going to call BS on you, But you got the storyline, so that counts.
Dude, I read like 4 books at a time. That's why I never finish any. I've got like an audio book. I've got a couple Alex Hormozi books going. I've got this book going, and I'm writing 3 of my own. So it's like,
yeah.
It gets confusing.
Well, I think the big takeaway from this morning as we reach the bottom of the hour is, this journey really is more about your mind than anything else, and about the person you become. And I think that's the biggest part, is like force yourself to do something that, like as you put, Nick, you never thought you'd do, and just get started. Just get started and show up. I think that's the biggest thing from today. So excited you guys are all here this morning. It's always good to see you guys. And I'll be honest, late night singing last night. Did not want to get up this morning, but I knew you boys were going to be on. So I appreciate the accountability and just knowing that you guys were there. Like you said, Nick, I was laying in bed trying to get up, and Mike Lombard was right there. He was right there with me, so I had to get up. But hey, listen,
It's a bad day to be a brick wall. Let's go.
Have a fabulous day. For all you out there listening, man, find your tribe, find your group. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And we will see you right back here next Tuesday for another episode of Iron Minds. Peace out, everybody. We'll see you.